The champagne glass hit the marble floor. 200 people watched in silence. Then his hand connected with her face. She was 8 months pregnant. He was a millionaire. And this was the third time the valet had secretly recorded him hitting her. But here's what nobody knew. Victoria Blackwell wasn't just any pregnant woman being abused in public. She was the daughter of Harrison Blackwell. Billionaire, real estate empire, $8 billion worth of power. And for 5 years, she'd hidden the truth from him. 300 beatings, 4 miscarriages, 18 emergency room visits, all while her father built skyscrapers 20 blocks away, not knowing his daughter was being destroyed in a penthouse he owned. This is the story of how a viral video changed everything, how a father's protection came too late and just in time, how 4 women united to take down a predator, and how one baby gave her mother the courage to finally fight back. But I need to warn you, this story is 120 minutes long. It's raw, it's real, it's going to make you angry, it's going to make you cry, PJ, and it's going to make you believe that survival is possible even when everything says it's not. The question is, are you ready to hear what really happened when that glass shattered? Because once you start listening, you won't be able to stop. This is the true story of Victoria Blackwell, and it starts with a slap heard around the world. The crystal glass shattered against marble. Champagne bled across white linen. Then his hand connected with her face. Victoria Blackwell sat frozen. The sting radiated from her cheek to her jaw. 8 months pregnant. Anniversary dinner. L'Etoile, Manhattan's most exclusive restaurant. The slap echoed through sudden silence. 200 witnesses, 200 pairs of eyes, 200 phones already recording. Not here. He promised not here. Not while I'm pregnant. Derek leaned close. His breath smelled like scotch and mint. Smile, he whispered through clenched teeth. You're embarrassing me. She tasted copper, blood from her lip. Her hand moved instinctively to her belly. The baby kicked once, hard, as if sensing the danger. The maitre d' approached, his face carefully neutral, professional concern masking what he'd just witnessed. Derek's charm snapped into place like a mask. My wife, he said, shaking his head with a practiced smile. Hormones, you understand. Laughter rippled through nearby tables. Not shocked gasps, not horrified whispers. Laughter. Victoria's face burned, not from the slap, from the humiliation of their participation. They thought this was funny. A pregnant woman's pain was entertainment over dessert and after-dinner drinks. Her phone buzzed. Nina's text glowed on the screen. Tori, I'm outside. Please come out. Victoria typed with shaking fingers. I'm fine. Just pregnancy hormones. You know how I get. Why, 3 lies and 2 sentences. She'd gotten so good at this. Derek stood, placed his hand on her shoulder, squeezed hard enough to bruise. Ready to go, darling? She nodded, rose slowly. The baby's weight made her movements careful, deliberate. She couldn't run even if she tried. They walked through the restaurant, past the tables, past the witnesses, past the people who'd laugh about this tomorrow. Did you see that pregnant woman get slapped at L'Etoile? Can you imagine? The summer air hit her face. Humid. Heavy. New York in August felt like drowning. Derek's car waited. Black Mercedes, tinted windows, her prison on wheels. She reached for the door handle. Mrs. Sutherland. Victoria turned. The valet, young, maybe 25. His name tag read James. He handed her the claim ticket. Then he leaned close, whispered so only she could hear. Ma'am, this is the 3rd time I've seen him hit you. I kept the security footage. All 3 times. Her heart stopped. Someone had noticed. Someone had cared enough to document. Thank you, she breathed. Derek appeared at her elbow. Problem? No problem, sir, James said smoothly. Just confirming your appointment for next month. Victoria slid into the car. Leather seats, climate control, luxury wrapping around violence. Derek got in, started the engine, drove in silence for 3 blocks. Then he spoke. You made me do that. Not an apology, an accusation. You were flirting with that waiter, looking at him like you wanted him, making me look like a fool. I took his order. I said thank you. That's all. But she didn't speak. Speaking made it worse. They pulled into their building's parking garage. Tribeca, penthouse, 8,000 square feet of fear. Derek parked, got out, walked toward the elevator without waiting. Victoria sat in the car. The garage lights buzzed overhead, fluorescent, harsh. She opened her phone, looked at Nina's text again, started to type, "Help me." Deleted it. Typed, "I need to leave him." Deleted it. Typed, "I'm scared." Deleted it. Put the phone away. She sat there in the parked car, 3 deep breaths. That's what the therapist said. 3 deep breaths and you can walk into your own home. When did her home become something she had to prepare for? The baby kicked again, stronger this time. "I know," she whispered to her belly. "I know you feel it too." She counted to 30, then got out, walked to the elevator, pressed the button for the penthouse. The doors closed. Just her and her reflection in the mirrored walls. The woman staring back looked hollow. Eyes too wide, makeup smudged, handprint visible on her cheek even in the dim light. When did I become her? The elevator dinged, 23rd floor. Victoria stepped out, walked down the hallway, put her key in the lock, turned it. Home. The apartment smelled like the lilies Derek had ordered that morning for their anniversary. 5 years married. 5 years of this. He stood at the window, scotch in hand, looking out at the city lights. "Go to bed," he said without turning. "You look tired." She walked past him, past the living room, past the kitchen with its marble countertops and restaurant-grade appliances they never used. Into the bedroom, their bedroom. California king, Egyptian cotton sheets, nightmare wrapped in luxury. Victoria changed into pajamas, washed her face, brushed her teeth. Normal nighttime routine, as if this was a normal night. She lay down, turned off the lamp, stared at the ceiling. The baby moved inside her, swimming, restless. "I'm supposed to protect you," Victoria whispered into the darkness. "But I can't even protect myself." Her phone lit up on the nightstand. Nina again. "I love you. I'm here whenever you need me." Victoria didn't respond, just watched the message fade to black. Through the walls, she heard Derek's footsteps, ice clinking in his glass. The sound of him settling into the couch in the living room. He wouldn't come to bed tonight. He never did after he hit her, as if sleeping separately made it less real. Victoria closed her eyes, tried to sleep, failed. At 2 in the morning, she got up, walked to the nursery. The room was ready, almost. Boxes stacked along one wall, crib pieces still in packaging, changing table wrapped in plastic, mobile with moons and stars waiting to be hung. She'd been so excited choosing the paint color. Soft gray, gender neutral, peaceful. She sat on the floor, surrounded by unopened boxes, touched each one. The crib, the changing table, the dresser. She opened the crib instructions, read them 3 times, didn't assemble anything. The room smelled like fresh paint, clean, new, untouched by violence. Now it felt like a crime scene before the crime. Would Derek hit their baby? Would this child grow up watching what Victoria had become? Would her daughter learn that love included bruises? Would her son learn that power meant control? The questions circled like vultures. Victoria placed both hands on her belly. The baby was quiet now, sleeping, peaceful. "I'm supposed to protect you," she said again, "but I don't know how." The apartment was silent, just the hum of air conditioning, the distant sound of traffic 23 floors below. Victoria sat in the nursery until dawn, surrounded by boxes, surrounded by possibilities, surrounded by fear. When the sun came up, she heard Derek leave. Gym, probably, or breakfast meeting. He maintained his routines, as if last night hadn't happened, as if nothing had happened. Victoria stood, walked to the bathroom, looked at her face in the mirror. The handprint had darkened overnight, purple and red blooming across her cheek. Tomorrow it would be worse. The day after, or she'd need makeup, lots of it, and a story. Walked into a cabinet, so clumsy these days with the pregnancy weight. She told that lie before. Everyone believed pregnant women were clumsy. Victoria picked up her phone, opened her notes, scrolled to the list she'd been keeping. The list she told no one about. Incident log. She added today's date, August 15th. Location, L'Etoile Restaurant. Witnesses, approximately 200. Severity, moderate. Visible injuries, yes. Then she scrolled up, looked at the full list. Restaurant incidents, 48 times. Home incidents, 189 times. His office, 31 times. Family gatherings, 18 times. Vacation, 15 times. A total, 301 times in 1,095 days. An average of one beating every 3.65 days. She'd been calculating her own destruction. Victoria closed the app, deleted it, reinstalled it, deleted it again. Then she sat on the edge of the bathtub and cried, really cried, for the first time in months. Not because he'd hit her. She'd gotten used to that, but because someone had noticed. James the valet had noticed. And that meant it was visible, real, undeniable. She couldn't hide anymore. Victoria's phone rang at 9 in the morning, unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Derek didn't like her taking calls from numbers he didn't recognize. But Derek wasn't home, and something made her press accept. Mrs. Sutherland? A woman's voice. Professional. Careful. Yes. This is Dr. Ellen Chase from Manhattan General ER. I need to speak with you about a pattern I've noticed in your medical records. Victoria's throat closed. She couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. Mrs. Sutherland? Are you there? I'm here. I've been your attending physician for 17 of your 18 emergency room visits over the past 5 years. I've documented everything, photographed every injury, followed every protocol, but you've always declined intervention. 17 times, not 300, but 17 times bad enough for the emergency room. I don't understand why you're calling, Victoria said. Her voice sounded distant, not her own. Because I saw the video from last night. It's trending online, 40 million views and counting, and I can't stay silent anymore. I fell at the restaurant. Pregnancy makes me dizzy. Victoria, Dr. Chase's voice softened. I've been an ER doctor for 20 years. I know what falling looks like, and I know what domestic violence looks like. You have defensive wounds, patterned injuries, systematic trauma. This isn't clumsiness, this is abuse. The word hung in the air, abuse. Victoria had never said it out loud, not once in 5 years. Derek was controlling. Derek had a temper. Derek sometimes got physical. But abuse, that word belonged to other people. Poorer people. People without options. I can't, Victoria whispered. You don't understand. If I say anything, he'll kill me. He's told me multiple times, if I ever tell anyone, it will be the last thing I do. Then don't tell anyone. Just let me help. I have colleagues, resources, safe houses, legal advocates. We can build a case without him knowing. And when you're ready to leave, everything will be in place. I can't put you at risk. I'm already at risk by knowing and doing nothing, by watching you come into my ER over and over and pretending the lies are true, by prioritizing your husband's reputation over your safety. Victoria's hands shook. The phone trembled against her ear. Think about it, Dr. Chase said. That's all I ask. I'm leaving my personal cell number on your voicemail. When you're ready, not if, when, I'll be here. The call ended. Victoria sat on the couch, staring at nothing, processing everything. Her laptop sat on the coffee table. She opened it, went to Twitter, #L'Etoile incident. Trending #2 worldwide. She clicked. The video played, different angles, different witnesses, all showing the same moment. Derek's hand connecting with her face, her head snapping to the side, her hand going to her belly. The comments scrolled beneath. How is this real? Someone call the police. That poor woman is pregnant. I hope someone helps her. Why didn't anyone intervene? But underneath those others, she probably deserved it. We don't know what she did. Women lie about this stuff all the time. Gold digger trying to trap a rich man. Victoria closed the laptop, walked to the window, looked out at Manhattan spread below. Somewhere out there, 40 million people had watched her worst moment. Some cared, some didn't, some blamed her. Her phone buzzed, Nina calling on FaceTime. Victoria debated, then answered. Nina's face filled the screen, worried, scared. Tori, oh my God, are you okay? I'm fine, Victoria said automatically. It looks worse than it is. Don't do that. Don't lie to me, not anymore. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. I fell. The heels were too high. You know how clumsy I get when I'm pregnant. Nina's face changed, hardened. Stop, please stop. I've been watching you disappear for 5 years. I've listened to every excuse, every explanation. I've pretended to believe you because I didn't know what else to do. But I can't anymore. 40 million people just watched your husband hit you. There's no excuse that covers that. Nina, I can't do this right now. Then when? When will you be ready to admit what's happening? When he puts you in the hospital for real? When you lose another baby? When he kills you? Victoria ended the call, blocked Nina's number, then unblocked it, then blocked it again. She couldn't handle truth today. Truth was too heavy. Instead, she did what she always did when overwhelmed. She reorganized, started with the kitchen, every cabinet, every drawer, every shelf, alphabetized the spices, arranged the plates by size, faced all the labels forward. Derek liked order. Order prevented problems. She moved to the bathroom, reorganized the medicine cabinet, tallest bottles in back, shortest in front, everything precise, controlled. The baby kicked, strong, insistent. I know, Victoria said to her belly. I know this is crazy, but it's how I survive. One organized drawer at a time. By noon, the apartment was perfect. Not a single thing out of place. Victoria sat at the kitchen island, exhausted, empty. Her laptop was still on the coffee table, still open to Twitter. She walked over, looked again. The video had 60 million views now, growing by the minute. Someone had identified her, posted, "That's Victoria Blackwell, daughter of Harrison Blackwell, the billionaire real estate developer." The narrative shifted in real time. Why doesn't her rich father help her? Billionaire lets his pregnant daughter get beaten? Where's her family? Victoria's chest tightened. They didn't understand. Her father didn't know. She'd made sure he didn't know. Her phone rang again. Different unknown number. Against her better judgment, she answered. Victoria Blackwell? A man's voice. Deep. Official. Yes. This is Detective Marcus Shaw with the NYPD. I'm calling about the incident at L'Etoile restaurant last night. Her heart stopped. Police. Derek would kill her if the police got involved. I'm fine, she said quickly. It was a misunderstanding. A private matter. Mrs. Blackwell, I've been investigating your husband for 2 years, not for domestic violence, for fraud, securities violations, financial crimes. But this video changes everything. Are you aware your husband has been married 3 times before you? Yes, he told me. They were unstable. The marriages didn't work out. Did he tell you all 3 ex-wives have restraining orders against him? Did he tell you 2 of them were hospitalized multiple times? Did he tell you 1 lost twins after he pushed her down the stairs? The room tilted. Victoria sat down hard on the couch. That's not true. He would have told me. Would he? Has he told you about the offshore accounts, the shell companies, the investors he's defrauded, the businesses he's destroyed? I don't know anything about his business. I know he's kept you isolated, controlled. That's his pattern. But now you're public. Now people are watching. Now we can help you if you let us. I can't. Please don't call again. Victoria hung up, turned off her phone, threw it across the room. Then she went into the bedroom. Got into bed fully clothed, pulled the covers over her head, and she did what she'd been doing for 5 years. She remembered the beginning, when Derek was perfect, when he was everything she wanted. They'd met at a charity gala 6 years ago, before her mother died, before everything fell apart. Derek had been charming, attentive. He'd asked about her life, her dreams, her plans. He'd listened like she was the only person in the room. Their first date was magical. Rooftop dinner, stars overhead. He'd held her hand and said she was different, special, not like other women. Red flag number 1. She'd ignored it. Their second date, he'd sent flowers to her office. 2 dozen roses. Her coworkers had swooned. Victoria had felt like a princess. Red flag number 2, love bombing. She'd ignored it. Their third date, he'd asked about her father, about Harrison Blackwell's business, about connections, about opportunities. Red flag number 3, she'd ignored it because she was in love, or what she thought was love. 6 months later, he proposed, Central Park. Photographer conveniently positioned to capture the moment. He'd posted it online before she'd even said yes. Her father had opposed the wedding, strongly, had run a background check, found nothing illegal but everything questionable. That man collects things, Harrison had said. Don't let yourself be collected. Victoria had accused him of being controlling, of never letting her make her own choices, of driving away everyone she cared about just like he'd driven away her mother. She'd said terrible things, unforgivable things. They'd stopped speaking 3 months before the wedding. Harrison hadn't attended. Julian had come but left early. Victoria had walked down the aisle alone, toward Derek, toward her future, toward this. The first time Derek hit her was 3 weeks after the wedding. She'd laughed too loud at a joke one of his friends told. He'd said she was flirting, making him look weak, making him look like he couldn't control his wife. He'd slapped her in their kitchen. Then he'd cried, apologized, said it would never happen again, said she'd pushed him to it, said if she just learned to behave, everything would be perfect. Victoria had believed him because she wanted to believe in him, because admitting the truth would mean admitting her father was right. The second time was a month later. She'd worn a dress he didn't approve of, too tight, too revealing, making her look like a whore. He'd twisted her arm behind her back until something popped. Drove her to the ER, told the doctor she'd fallen on ice. In July. The doctor hadn't believed it, but Victoria had confirmed the story, and that was that. The third time, the fourth, the fifth, the 20th, the 100th. Each time she'd told herself it would be the last. Each time she'd been wrong. Now, lying in bed at 8 months pregnant, Victoria finally admitted the truth. This would never stop. Not unless she stopped it. I'm not crazy. I documented everything because some part of me knew I'd need proof. That's not paranoia. That's survival. She'd been strategic, even when she felt weak, even when she felt broken. She had evidence, 3 years of evidence. The question was, did she have the courage to use it? Harrison Blackwell's assistant interrupted his board meeting at 10:15 in the morning. Sir, you have an urgent call. Your son. Harrison frowned. Julian knew better than to interrupt board meetings unless it was life or death. He excused himself, took the call in the hallway. This better be important. Dad. Julian's voice was tight, controlled. It's Tori. It's bad. Harrison's chest constricted. His daughter, his Victoria, the one he hadn't spoken to in 5 years. What happened? Have you been online today? Twitter? News? I don't have time for social media. Make time, search L'Etoile incident. I'm sending you a link. Watch it, then call me back. The call ended. Harrison pulled out his phone, searched, found the video immediately. He pressed play. The restaurant, his daughter, 8 months pregnant. Her husband's hand connecting with her face, her head snapping to the side, her hand protecting her belly. Harrison watched it 3 times. Then he returned to the boardroom. Meeting adjourned. I have a family emergency. He didn't wait for response, didn't wait for questions. He walked out, got in his car, called Julian back. Tell me everything. I've been researching since last night. Hospital visits, police reports filed, then withdrawn, credit card statements showing purchases for makeup and concealer. This has been going on for years, Dad, since right after the wedding. 5 years. Victoria had been suffering for 5 years while Harrison respected her boundaries, while he stayed away because she'd asked him to. How did we miss this? She hit it perfectly. Social media shows a happy couple, charity events, vacations, anniversaries, all staged, all fake. I want everything, every hospital record, every police report, every witness statement, every piece of evidence that exists. I want it now. Already started. Dad, there's more. Derek Sutherland has been married 3 times before. All ended in restraining orders. All involved documented abuse. He has a pattern. Harrison's hands clenched. Why didn't our background check show this? Sealed settlements, NDAs, money-buying silence. But I found the records. I'm sending them now. Harrison's phone buzzed, files downloading. He opened them. Hospital records, photos of his daughter's face, broken bones, bruises, black eyes, split lips. 5 years of documentation. 5 years of evidence. 5 years of his daughter suffering while he'd been too proud to reach out. One photo stopped him. Victoria's face, unrecognizable from swelling. Black eyes, broken nose, split lip. The date, 3 weeks after her wedding. Before the estrangement. Before their fight. She'd been protecting him from the truth, not protecting Derek from justice. His little girl had been drowning and hadn't called for help because she thought he'd say, "I told you so." Harrison made 3 calls. First, to his head of security. "I need 24-hour protection on my daughter, covert. She doesn't know yet, but I want her watched, documented, protected." Second, to his lead attorney. "I'm about to destroy someone, legally, financially, publicly. I need you to find every law Derek Sutherland has broken, every contract he's violated, every person he's hurt. Build me a case that will bury him." Third, to his daughter's number. It rang, and rang, and rang. Voicemail. "Victoria, it's your father. I saw the video. I know everything. You don't have to hide anymore. You don't have to protect me or anyone else. I'm coming for you, Al. Whether you want me to or not, because that's what fathers do. And I'm sorry I forgot that for 5 years." He hung up, looked at Julian. "Where is she right now?" "Home. Derek left for his office an hour ago. She's alone. Let's go." They drove to Tribeca, to the building Harrison's company owned. Hudson Properties, LLC, one of 50 buildings in his portfolio. The irony wasn't lost on him. His daughter had been beaten in a building he owned, by a man paying rent to him, under his nose. The doorman recognized Harrison immediately. "Mr. Blackwell, I didn't know you were visiting today." "I'm here for my daughter, Victoria Sutherland. Penthouse." The doorman's face changed. "Sir, Mr. Sutherland left instructions. No family visitors." Harrison stepped closer. "Let me be very clear. I own this building. You work for me. Either you let me up or you find a new job in the next 60 seconds. The doorman stepped aside. Harrison and Julian rode the elevator to the 23rd floor. Harrison knocked. Once. Twice. 3 times. Finally, the door opened. Victoria stood there. His daughter. His baby girl. 8 months pregnant. Bruise darkening her face, eyes hollow. She looked at him. Then at Julian. Then back at him. "You can't be here," she whispered. "He'll be furious." "I don't care." "Dad, you don't understand. He'll hurt me worse if he finds out you came." Harrison's voice broke. "Victoria, he's already hurting you as badly as possible. How much worse can it get?" She started to speak, then stopped, then started crying. Not quiet tears, not dignified sadness, ugly, gasping sobs. Harrison stepped forward, put his arms around his daughter for the first time in 5 years, held her while she fell apart. Julian closed the door, stood guard, as if Derek might come home any second. Victoria cried into her father's shoulder. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. You were right. You tried to warn me. I should have listened." "Stop. Don't apologize for being hurt. Don't apologize for being human. Don't apologize for wanting love and getting violence instead. I cut you out. I protected him instead of you. I chose him over my own family. You protected yourself the only way you knew how. I forgive you. The question is, do you forgive me?" Victoria pulled back, looked up at him, confused. "For what?" "For being so focused on being right that I forgot to be your father. For making you choose between my approval and your autonomy. For not fighting harder to stay in your life. For not being there when you needed me." Victoria's face crumpled again. "I needed you so many times. I almost called so many times, but I was ashamed and scared, and I didn't want you to say you told me so. I would never. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help, whatever you need. However long it takes, I'm not leaving again." Julian spoke quietly. "Tori, how long do we have before he comes home?" "Hours. He has meetings all time, but he checks the cameras sometimes. Watches me. Harrison looked around the apartment, saw the cameras immediately. Small, discreet, positioned in every room. He watches you? He says it's for security, but it's to make sure I don't have visitors. Don't go anywhere he hasn't approved. Don't do anything he doesn't know about. Harrison made another call to his head of security. I need a tech team at this address. Now, find every camera, every recording device, every piece of surveillance equipment, and disable all of it. He hung up, looked at his daughter. We're going to fix this, but I need to know everything, every detail, every moment, everything he's done. Can you tell me? Victoria nodded slowly. It's going to take a while. I have nothing but time. They sat on the couch, Victoria in the middle, Harrison on one side, Julian on the other, and she told them everything. She started with the wedding. The first hit 3 weeks later. She walked them through 5 years of escalating violence, restaurant incidents, holiday gatherings, vacations that turned into nightmares. She told them about the first miscarriage, 5 months pregnant. Derek had shoved her into their car after a country club argument. She'd bled for 3 days before going to the hospital. Lost the baby. Derek said it was God's will. She told them about the financial control, her accounts closed, her credit cards in his name, her allowance, her request for permission to buy anything over $100. She told them about the isolation, friends who stopped calling because she always canceled plans, family who stopped reaching out because she never responded, a life that shrank and shrank until only Derek remained. She told them about the threats. If she ever left, he'd find her. If she ever told anyone, he'd kill her. If she ever went to her father, she'd never see him again. She told them about the 300 documented incidents, the list on her phone, the evidence she'd been collecting for 3 years. Harrison listened, didn't interrupt, didn't react, just listened. When she finished, 2 hours had passed. Harrison spoke carefully. I built an empire with these hands. 40 years of construction. I can build you a new life just as strong. But first, we destroy him. Completely, legally, financially, publicly. Are you ready for that? Victoria met her father's eyes. Something shifted in her face. The victim became something else, something harder, stronger. I've been documenting everything for 3 years. Every text, every email, every threat, every incident, photos, videos, medical records, police reports, bank statements. I have proof, all of it. I've been building my own case. I just needed to be ready to use it. Harrison smiled, actually smiled. You're my daughter. Of course you've been strategic. I stayed because leaving felt more dangerous than staying. I documented because I knew one day I'd need ammunition. I survived because somewhere deep inside, I knew this wasn't forever. I wasn't weak. I was strategic. Julian pulled out his laptop. Show me. Show me everything you have. Victoria got her phone, opened the hidden app, the one disguised as a weather application. Inside were thousands of files, photos of injuries, videos of Derek screaming, audio recordings of threats, screenshots of texts, bank statements showing financial control, credit card receipts for concealer and makeup, calendar entries marking every incident, 3 years of evidence, meticulously documented, perfectly organized. Harrison looked at his daughter with new eyes. She hadn't been a passive victim. She'd been a survivor building her escape. This is enough, he said quietly. This is more than enough. We can bury him with this. But what if it's not? What if he has better lawyers? What if people don't believe me? What if I'm not strong enough to see this through? Harrison took her hand. Then you lean on us. That's what family is for. You've been strong alone for 5 years. Now you can be strong together. Victoria looked at her father, then at her brother, then down at her pregnant belly. Okay, she whispered. Okay, let's do this. One more thing, Harrison said. This penthouse. It's owned by my company. As of today, Derek Sutherland's lease is terminated. He's evicted, effective immediately. He can try to fight it, but I own the building. He has no legal standing. Where will I go? Home, to my house, where you should have been all along, where you'll be safe, where your baby will be safe, where you never have to be afraid again. Victoria nodded, tears streaming down her face, but different tears now. Not from pain, from relief. The tech team arrived, disabled every camera, every recording device, every piece of surveillance Derek had installed. Harrison's security team arrived, started packing Victoria's belongings, personal items, clothes, everything that belonged to her. Within 4 hours, the apartment was cleared of Victoria's presence. She stood in the empty nursery one last time, looked at the unopened boxes, the paint she'd chosen, the dreams she'd had. "I'll buy you new," Harrison said from the doorway. New nursery, new furniture, new beginning. "It's not about the stuff. It's about what I thought this would be, what I thought we would be. You can still have that, just not with him. You and your baby deserve peace, safety, love without conditions, and I'm going to make sure you get it." They left the penthouse, got into Harrison's car, drove toward the Upper West Side, toward Harrison's brownstone, towards safety. Victoria looked out the window, watched the city pass, felt the baby move inside her. For the first time in 5 years, she felt something unfamiliar. Hope. Dr. Ellen Chase had been an ER physician for 20 years. She'd seen everything: gunshot wounds, car accidents, overdoses, burns, trauma in every form. But Victoria Sutherland's file haunted her. Ellen pulled up the records on her computer. 18 emergency room visits over 5 years. 18 different injuries. 18 different lies. Visit 1, broken wrist. I fell on ice in July. Visit 2, concussion. I slipped in the shower. Visit 3, cracked rib, car accident, airbag deployed. Visit 4, facial contusions, walked into a door. The excuses got more creative as the visits continued, but the pattern was unmistakable. Classic domestic violence presentation, defensive wounds, injuries in various stages of healing, fear in the patient's eyes that no physical pain could explain. Ellen had documented everything, photographed every injury, followed every protocol, called social services every time. Victoria had declined intervention every time. "I'm fine, just clumsy. I bruise easily." The last visit had been 3 weeks ago. Victoria at 7 months pregnant, facial bruising, split lip, defensive wounds on her forearms. Ellen had broken protocol, given Victoria her personal cell phone number. "When you're ready, not if, when." Victoria hadn't called. Now Ellen sat in her office watching the viral video for the 20th time. 40 million views, 60 million, 80 million, growing exponentially. Her phone rang. Hospital administrator. "Dr. Chase, we need to discuss the Victoria Sutherland situation." "What situation?" "You've been her attending physician for 17 ER visits. The media is asking questions. Lawyers are asking questions. The board wants to know if we followed protocol." "We followed protocol perfectly. Every visit, every time. But you can't force help on someone who isn't ready to accept it. The optics are bad. Billionaire's daughter repeatedly hospitalized. No intervention. It looks like we failed her." We did fail her, all of us, not just the hospital. Society failed her. Her family failed her. Her friends failed her. I failed her because we all saw the signs and didn't push hard enough. Ellen hung up, made a decision. She pulled up Harrison Blackwell's contact information. They'd served together on the hospital charity board. He'd donated $50 million for the new wing. She had his private number. She dialed. "Harrison Blackwell." "Mr. Blackwell, this is Dr. Ellen Chase from Manhattan General. We need to talk about your daughter." Silence on the other end. Then, "I'm listening. I've been Victoria's ER doctor for 5 years. I have complete medical records, documentation of every injury, photos, reports, everything. And I'm willing to testify, to provide evidence, to do whatever it takes to help her. But I need to know she's safe first." "She's with me now. She's safe." Ellen's shoulders relaxed. "Good. That's good. Can I see her? Medically, she needs to be monitored. The pregnancy, the stress, the physical trauma. She's high risk now. Come to my home, today if possible. I'll send a car. I'll be there in 2 hours." Ellen gathered Victoria's complete file, every page, every photo, every report, 5 years of evidence. She drove to the Upper West Side, to Harrison Blackwell's brownstone. 4 stories, elegant, old money architecture. Harrison met her at the door. "Dr. Chase, thank you for coming." "Where is she?" "Upstairs, resting. The past 48 hours have been overwhelming." Ellen followed him up the stairs, to a bedroom. Victoria lay in bed, laptop open, scrolling through something. She looked up, saw Ellen. Her face changed. "I'm sorry," Victoria said immediately. "I'm sorry I didn't listen. I'm sorry I wasted your time all those years." Ellen sat on the edge of the bed. "You didn't waste anything. You survived. That's what matters. Now let me examine you. Make sure you and the baby are okay." Victoria nodded. Ellen did a complete examination, checked vitals, listened to the baby's heartbeat, examined the bruising on Victoria's face and arms. "Baby sounds strong, heart rate good, but your blood pressure is elevated, stress-related, and you're showing signs of early preeclampsia. We need to monitor you closely for the next few weeks." "What does that mean?" "It means you need to stay calm, rest, avoid stress as much as possible. Your body has been through trauma, physical and emotional. It's taking a toll. If we're not careful, you could go into early labor or develop serious complications." Victoria's hand went to her belly. "The baby will be okay?" "If we're careful, yes, but Victoria, you can't go back to that environment. Not even for a day. The stress alone could kill you. Or the baby, do you understand?" "I'm not going back, ever." "Good, because I'm going to be brutally honest. You've had 4 miscarriages in 5 years. 4. That's not normal. That's not coincidence. Trauma causes miscarriages. Violence causes miscarriages. Your body has been trying to protect itself by not carrying pregnancies to term. This baby has survived to 8 months. That's a miracle. Don't waste it by going back." Victoria started crying. Ellen handed her tissues. "I didn't know about the miscarriages. I mean, I knew they happened, but I didn't know why. Derek said it was my fault, that my body was defective, that I couldn't do the one thing women were supposed to do." "Your body isn't defective. Your body was under attack. There's a difference." Ellen pulled out Victoria's medical file, spread the photos across the bed. "Look at these, really look. This is what you've survived. Broken wrist, concussion, cracked ribs, facial fractures, contusions, lacerations, burns. This isn't clumsiness. This is attempted murder in slow motion." Victoria looked at each photo, her face growing harder with each image. "I look at myself in the mirror. I see the woman I used to be. Loud, happy, fearless. I don't know when I stopped being her. It happened so gradually that I didn't notice until she was gone completely." Ellen understood. She'd seen it hundreds of times. The slow erasure of self. The gradual disappearance of personality, until only survival remained. That woman is still inside you. She's just been hiding, protecting herself. Now she can come back out. Harrison knocked on the door, entered with Julian and another man Ellen didn't recognize. "This is Detective Marcus Shaw," Harrison said. "He's been investigating Derek for 2 years. Financial crimes. But now he wants to add domestic violence charges, if Victoria is willing." Victoria looked at the detective. "You said Derek has been married before, 3 times. Is that true?" Shaw nodded. 3 previous wives. All ended in restraining orders. All involved documented abuse. I've been interviewing them, building a pattern, and they want to meet you, if you're willing. Why would they want to meet me? Because you went public. Because you didn't stay silent. Because you're the first one brave enough to let the world see what he is. And they want to help you finish what you started." Victoria glanced at her father, then at Ellen, then back to Shaw. "When?" "Tomorrow, if you're ready. I've arranged a meeting. Private location. Just you and them, and your father and brother if you want them there." "I want them there," Shaw nodded. "Tomorrow at 2, I'll send the address." After Shaw left, Ellen prepared to go. "One more thing," she said to Victoria. "I want you to see a therapist, specialized in trauma, domestic violence specifically. You're going to need help processing this, professional help." "I'll try." "Don't try, do. Because in a few weeks you're going to have a baby, And that baby is going to need a mother who's healing. Not healed, but healing. There's a difference. Ellen left her number, promised to check in daily, drove back to the hospital. That night, she wrote up her full report. Every detail, every observation, every medical fact. She sent it to Shaw, to Harrison's lawyers, to Child Protective Services, to everyone who might need it to build a case against Derek Sutherland. For 5 years, Ellen had watched Victoria suffer, had documented but not intervened enough, had followed protocol but not her conscience. Not anymore. This time she would make sure justice was served, even if she had to testify in court, even if she had to risk her career, even if Derek's lawyers came after her. Some things were worth the risk. Victoria Sutherland was one of them. Julian Blackwell hadn't slept in 48 hours. Too much coffee, too much adrenaline, too much rage. He sat in his father's study surrounded by files, bank records, property deeds, corporate filings, text messages, emails, photos. 5 years of his sister's life spread across the desk in documentary evidence. Julian had always been good at his job. VP of Acquisitions for Blackwell Properties, Harvard Law, Wharton MBA. He knew how to research, how to investigate, how to find information people wanted hidden. He'd been using those skills to destroy Derek Sutherland. The coffee maker beeped. Julian poured his 6th cup, looked at the clock, 3 in the morning. Harrison entered the study. You should sleep. Can't, too much to do. Did you know Derek's been skimming from his investors, setting up shell companies in the Caymans, funneling money offshore? Shaw mentioned it. It's worse than Shaw thinks. Derek has 12 shell companies, hidden partnerships with known criminals, money laundering, securities fraud, tax evasion. The financial crimes alone will put him away for decades. Good. What else? Julian pulled up another file. The 3 ex-wives. I found their complete histories, medical records, police reports, court filings, all sealed with NDAs, but I found them anyway. How? I paid people, a lot of people. Money talks. NDAs don't mean much when someone offers enough cash. Harrison sat down. Tell me about the ex-wives. Wife number 1, Amanda Sterling. Tech heiress, father founded Sterling Software, worth $2 billion. Derek married her 7 years ago. Marriage lasted 2 years. Ended when he put her in the hospital with a ruptured spleen. She paid him $5 million to go away quietly. Moved to London, hasn't been back to the States since. Wife number 2, Rachel Montgomery, real estate developer's daughter. Father owned Montgomery Properties worth $500 million. Derek married her 5 years ago. Marriage lasted 18 months. Ended when she got a restraining order after he broke her jaw. She changed her name, changed her face with plastic surgery. Lives in Seattle under an assumed identity. And the third, Jennifer Hayes, investment banker, made her own fortune, worth about $50 million. Derek married her 4 years ago. Marriage lasted 8 months. She was pregnant with twins. He pushed her down the stairs. She miscarried, got a restraining order, moved to Boston, hasn't dated anyone since. Harrison's face was stone. He targets successful women from wealthy families. Yes, it's a pattern. He charms them, marries them, isolates them, then systematically destroys them while trying to access their family money and connections. When they try to leave, he escalates the violence until they pay him to go away. But Victoria didn't pay. Victoria refused to give him anything. That's why the violence got worse. He couldn't access Dad's money through her. She wouldn't introduce him to your business contacts. She wouldn't use her name to open doors for him, so he punished her for it. Julian pulled up more files. There's more. Derek has been sued 17 times. Business partners claiming fraud, investors claiming theft, employees claiming harassment. All settled out of court, all buried under NDAs. Can we break those NDAs? Already working on it. If we can show a pattern of criminal behavior, the NDAs become void. We can expose everything. Harrison stood, paced the room. What about right now? This moment? Is Victoria safe? Derek doesn't know where she is. I've had his movements tracked since yesterday. He's been at his office, his apartment, his gym. Normal routine, but he's making calls. Lots of calls. To lawyers, to publicists, to crisis management firms. He's planning his defense. Let him plan. We're planning too. Julian's phone buzzed. Security alert. Derek just left his apartment. It's 3:30 in the morning. Where is he going? They pulled up the tracking software, watched Derek's car move through Manhattan, straight to the Tribeca penthouse. Harrison and Julian watched on the security cameras they'd installed. Derek entered the building, took the elevator to the 23rd floor, unlocked the penthouse door, walked into an empty apartment. They watched him search every room, saw his confusion turn to rage, saw him pull out his phone, call Victoria's number. Once, twice, 10 times. No answer. Derek started throwing things, smashing furniture, destroying what was left. Then he saw the cameras, or rather saw where the cameras used to be, walked directly to each former camera location. Realized they'd been removed. He understood. Someone had come for Victoria. Someone had taken her. Julian watched Derek's face on the screen, saw the calculation, the planning, the rage. He knows, Julian said quietly. He knows she's gone and he's going to come looking. Let him look. He won't find her. And if he tries, we'll have him arrested for violating the restraining order. We don't have a restraining order yet. We will by morning. Ellen is filing it at 9. Emergency order. Judge Hammond is hearing it personally. Julian nodded, kept watching Derek destroy the penthouse. 5 years of rage concentrated into 15 minutes of violence. Finally, Derek left, got back in his car, drove to his office. He's going to work, Julian said. At 4 in the morning. He's planning something. Then we plan better. They worked until dawn, building the case, organizing evidence, preparing for war. At 7, Victoria came downstairs, pregnant, exhausted, but her eyes were clearer than Julian had seen in years. I couldn't sleep, she said. Neither could we. She sat down, looked at the files spread across the desk. That's all about me? About Derek, about what he's done, about how we're going to stop him. Victoria picked up a file. Amanda Sterling's medical records, photos of injuries that mirrored Victoria's own. She looks like me, in these photos, same bruises, same fear. He has a type, successful, strong, beautiful. Women he can break and then blame for being broken. Victoria put down the file. I want to meet them, the other wives. I need to know I'm not crazy, that this really happened the way I remember it. Shaw arranged a meeting, today at 2. Good. Harrison entered with coffee. You should eat something. Doctor's orders. I'm not hungry. Doesn't matter. The baby needs food. You need strength. Eat. Victoria smiled slightly. You sound like Mom. She used to say that. Harrison's face softened. She would be so proud of you, what you're doing, how brave you're being. I don't feel brave. I feel terrified. What if Derek finds me? What if he hurts Dad or Julian to get to me? What if this all falls apart? Then we adapt. We adjust. We keep fighting, because giving up isn't an option. Not anymore. Victoria nodded, accepted the coffee, the toast Harrison had made. At noon, they prepared to leave for the meeting with Derek's ex-wives. Victoria changed 3 times. Nothing felt right. Nothing felt strong enough for what was coming. Finally, she chose simple. Jeans, t-shirt, cardigan, minimal makeup. Let the bruises show. You look perfect, Julian said. I look like a victim. You look like a survivor. There's a difference. They drove to a private office building. Shaw's choice. Secure, monitored, safe. They took the elevator to the 10th floor. Conference room at the end of the hall. Shaw waited outside. They're already here, all 3. Are you ready? Victoria took a deep breath. No, but let's do this anyway. She walked into the conference room. 3 women sat at the table, different ages, different appearances, but their eyes were the same. They'd survived Derek Sutherland too. The first woman stood, early 30s, blonde, beautiful even with the hardness around her eyes. Victoria, I'm Amanda Sterling. The second woman stood, late 20s, dark hair, nervous energy. Rachel Montgomery. The third woman stood, mid-30s, quiet, controlled. Jennifer Hayes. Victoria looked at them. They looked at her. 4 women, same man, same pattern, different outcomes. Amanda spoke first. He told you we were crazy, didn't he? That we were unstable, that you were different, special, not like us. Victoria nodded. He told me the same thing about the woman before me. Then I became the crazy ex-wife for the next one. For Rachel. Rachel spoke next. He told me Amanda was a drug addict, that she made up the abuse to get money, that he was the victim. I believed him, until he broke my jaw. Then I understood. The lies, the manipulation, the pattern. Jennifer's voice was quiet. I lost twins. He pushed me down the stairs. Then he told the doctors I'd fallen, told my family I was careless, told me it was my fault for stressing him. I believed him for 3 years after the divorce, believed I'd caused my baby's deaths, until I saw your video, and I realized. He murdered them. Not me. Him. Victoria sat down. Hard. I had 4 miscarriages. He said my body was defective, that I couldn't do the one thing women were made for. The women looked at each other. 4, Amanda breathed. God, you survived 4. And you're still pregnant, Rachel added. You made it to 8 months. That's incredible. Victoria touched her belly. I almost didn't. A few days ago, I started bleeding. I thought I was losing this baby too. But the doctor said it was stress, not physical, just stress. Jennifer leaned forward. Do you understand what that means? Your body tried to protect itself by ending the pregnancy. That's how bad it was. Your own body knew staying with him was worse than losing a child. The words hit like fists. Victoria had never thought of it that way. Her miscarriages weren't failures. They were survival mechanisms. I blamed myself, she whispered, for all of them, for not being strong enough, for not being good enough, for not being able to give him what he wanted. That's what he does, Amanda said. He makes you blame yourself for his violence, for his rage, for his inadequacy. He turns everything around until you believe you're the problem. Shaw cleared his throat. Ladies, I need to ask, are you willing to testify, all of you in court, against Derek? Silence. Then Amanda spoke. I signed an NDA, $5 million to stay silent. If I break it, I lose everything. Not if we can prove criminal pattern, Shaw countered. If we can show he's a serial abuser, your NDA becomes void. You can speak freely. And if we can't prove that, then you lose $5 million, but you gain justice, your choice. Amanda looked at Rachel, then at Jennifer, then at Victoria. I'll do it. I'll testify. I'll lose the money if I have to, because this has to stop. He has to be stopped. Before there's a 5th wife, a 6th, a 10th. Rachel nodded slowly. I'll testify too. I changed my name, my face, my entire life. I'm done running. I'm done hiding. Jennifer was quiet longer. Then, I'll testify. For my twins. For all the babies we lost to his violence. For all the women he's hurt. I'll testify. They all looked at Victoria. I'll testify, she said. I'll tell everything, every detail, every moment, every lie, all of it. Shaw nodded, satisfied. Good. Then we have a case. 4 victims, 4 testimonies, 4 separate incidents spanning 7 years. Pattern established. Criminal behavior documented. We can bring charges. Harrison spoke for the first time. What kind of charges? Assault, battery, domestic violence, stalking, harassment, violation of restraining orders, financial fraud, securities violations, tax evasion, money laundering. We're talking 30 to 40 years if we get convictions on everything. And if we don't, then we got at least 15 for the domestic violence charges alone. The evidence is overwhelming. The women spent the next 3 hours sharing stories, comparing notes, building their case together. They discovered patterns even Shaw hadn't found. Derek's escalation timeline, his manipulation techniques, his financial schemes. By the end, they weren't just victims. They were a prosecution team. Amanda pulled out a folder. I've been documenting Derek for 6 years, since the divorce. I hired investigators, followed him, watched him repeat the pattern with Rachel, then Jennifer, then you. I have proof. All of it. I've been waiting for the right moment. She spread files across the table. Photos, bank records, video footage, audio recordings. The moment is now, she said. Let's destroy him. Victoria looked at her father, at her brother, at the 3 women who'd survived Derek before her. Okay, she said, let's do this. By the next morning, the L'Etoile video had 100 million views. Victoria sat in her father's study watching the numbers climb. 110 million, 120 million, 150 million. The internet had done what it does best: investigated, exposed, amplified. Someone had identified her as Harrison Blackwell's daughter, the billionaire real estate developer who'd built half of Manhattan. The narrative shifted in real time. Billionaire's daughter beaten by husband. Why didn't her rich father protect her? Money doesn't protect against domestic violence. Where was her family? Think pieces appeared, op-eds, social media threads. Everyone had an opinion. When wealth doesn't protect, the Victoria Blackwell story. Privilege and abuse, why rich women stay. The failure of family, how a father missed the signs. Victoria read them all. Some understood, some didn't. Some blamed her, some blamed Harrison, some blamed society. Derek's company website crashed from traffic. Angry comments flooded every platform. Investors called emergency meetings. His board of directors scheduled votes. Derek Sutherland was trending worldwide, but not how he'd planned. At noon, Derek's mother appeared on national television. Victoria watched from the study, Harrison and Julian flanking her. Caroline Sutherland looked perfect. Designer clothes, professional makeup, controlled emotion. My son is under attack, Carolyn said to the cameras. That woman trapped him with pregnancy. She's unstable, manipulative. He was defending himself from her accusations. The interviewer looked skeptical. Mrs. Sutherland, there's video evidence of your son slapping his pregnant wife in a public restaurant. Taken out of context. We don't know what she said to him. What she did to provoke that response. Women lie about these things all the time. My son is the victim here. Victoria listened to the lies, the deflection, the victim blaming. Everything Derek did, his mother did too. She learned from him, Julian said quietly, or he learned from her. Either way, it's generational. The phone rang. Harrison's assistant. Sir, you have reporters at the gate, dozens of them. Cameras, questions. What should we tell them? No comment about anything. Refer them to my lawyers. Should we release a statement? Not yet. Let Derek's side hang themselves first, then we respond. They didn't have to wait long. At 2 in the afternoon, Caroline held a press conference outside Derek's office building. Microphones everywhere. My son is a good man, a successful businessman, a loving husband. Victoria Blackwell has mental health issues. The pregnancy has made her unstable. She's making false accusations to access my son's money, and her family is enabling these lies because they never approved of the marriage. A reporter shouted, what about the hospital records, the police reports, the other women he's been married to? Carolyn's mask slipped, just for a second, then snapped back into place. I don't know what you're talking about. My son has never been violent. This is character assassination. The press conference ended badly. Reporters shouting questions. Caroline retreating. Her lawyers hustling her away. Julian watched it all. She just made it worse. Way worse. He was right. At 4 in the afternoon, a new Twitter account appeared. Username, Derek's assistant. The first post, I worked for Derek Sutherland for 4 years. I have recordings. I have videos. I have proof. Victoria Blackwell is a victim. Here's what I witnessed. Then came the uploads. 47 videos. Office security footage. Derek screaming at Victoria on the phone. Derek bragging to colleagues about keeping his wife in line. Derek showing photos of Victoria's bruises like trophies. Audio recordings. Derek threatening Victoria. Derek manipulating business partners. Derek planning how to access Harrison Blackwell's fortune. Emails. Text messages. Calendar entries. 4 years of documentation from inside Derek's office. The assistant's name was Olivia Carter, 26 years old, had worked for Derek since graduating college. Her thread got retweeted 3 million times in 2 hours. Harrison called his lawyers. Find Olivia Carter. Protect her. Derek will come after her for this. Already on it. We have a team en route to her apartment. Good, offer her a job. Whatever she was making for Derek, we'll triple it. She deserves protection and compensation for this courage. By evening, Derek's world was imploding. His board voted to remove him as CEO. Effective immediately, his investors filed lawsuits, securities fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, fraud. His landlord, Hudson Properties LLC, Harrison's company, filed eviction papers. Lease terminated for cause. His bank accounts were frozen pending investigation into the offshore transfers. His assets were seized. Cars, properties, investments, everything. Derek Sutherland went from millionaire to effectively bankrupt in 12 hours. Victoria watched it happen in real time. Social media, news broadcasts, financial reports. I should feel something, she said to Harrison. Satisfaction, vindication, something, but I just feel empty. That's normal. Abuse doesn't end when the abuser loses. It ends when you heal, and healing takes time. Nina called. Victoria answered for the first time in days. Tori, oh my God, I've been so worried. Are you okay? Where are you? Can I see you? I'm at my dad's. I'm safe. I'm sorry I blocked you. I wasn't ready to hear the truth. I'm sorry I didn't push harder. I knew. I always knew. But I didn't know how to help. Come over, please. I need my friend. Nina arrived within the hour. She and Victoria sat in the guest room, just talking, like they used to, before Derek, before everything. I missed you, Nina said, the real you, the one who laughed too loud and didn't apologize for existing. I missed me too. They talked for hours, about Derek, about the bust, about the 5 years of hell, but also about the future, about the baby, about what came next. Have you thought about names? Nina asked. If it's a girl, Margaret, after my mom. If it's I don't know yet. Something strong, something that means survivor. Margaret is perfect. At midnight, Victoria's phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. You're going to regret this. You're going to regret everything. I made you. I can unmake you. You're nothing without me. Derek, Victoria showed the text to Harrison. He immediately forwarded it to Shaw. Evidence of harassment, violation of the restraining the order request, added to the file. Victoria blocked the number. Another text came. Different number, same message. She blocked that too. 5 more texts, 5 more numbers. All Derek. He's using burner phones, Julian said, trying to circumvent the block. Harrison called his tech team. I need Victoria's number changed, immediately, and I need those burner phone numbers traced. Every one of them. Within an hour, Victoria had a new number. Unlisted, protected, only family and Nina had it. The harassment stopped, but the damage was done. Derek knew where she was, not physically, but mentally. He knew she was scared, and that was enough for him. Victoria sat in her room, the guest room that used to be hers when she was a teenager. Before college, before Derek, before everything. It smelled the same. Lavender sachets her mother had placed in the drawers, books on the shelves from high school, photos on the walls from better times. She looked at one photo box in particular. Her 16th birthday, Harrison, Margaret, Julian, and Victoria, smiling, happy, a family. Before her mother got sick, before she died, before Victoria pushed everyone away in her grief, before Derek found her vulnerable and isolated and perfect for collecting. I'm sorry, Mom, Victoria whispered to the photo. I'm sorry I wasted 5 years. I'm sorry I didn't listen to Dad. I'm sorry I let him break me. But as she said it, she realized something. I'm not broken, bent maybe, damaged, scarred, but not broken, because broken things don't fight back. And she was finally fighting back. Victoria opened her laptop, went to Twitter, created an account. She typed one message. To everyone watching, thank you for caring. Thank you for speaking up. Thank you for making abuse visible. I'm safe now. I'm healing now. And I'm going to make sure no other woman goes through what I went through. This is just the beginning. She hit post. Within minutes, it had 10,000 retweets, 20,000, 50,000. Messages flooded in. Support, love, encouragement. Other survivors sharing their stories. Victoria read them all, every single one. Each story a mirror of her own, each woman a sister in survival. She wasn't alone. She'd never been alone. Millions of women knew exactly what she'd endured. And that knowledge, that connection, that sisterhood felt like armor. Derek had isolated her, made her think she was the only one, the only woman whose husband hit her, the only wife who stayed too long, the only victim who blamed herself. But she wasn't. She would want to play in, and together they were unstoppable. Victoria closed her laptop, walked to the window, looked out at Manhattan spread below. Somewhere out there, Derek was plotting, planning, trying to regain control. But he'd already lost. He just didn't know it yet. Detective Marcus Shaw sat in his office surrounded by files. 7 years of investigation. 3 ex-wives, 1 current wife, 1 clear pattern. Derek Sutherland was a predator. Sophisticated, calculating, careful, but not careful enough. Shaw had been building a case against Derek for 2 years, originally for financial crimes, securities fraud, investor manipulation, money laundering. But the domestic violence evidence was stronger, more visceral, more prosecutable, and now he had 4 victims willing to testify. Shaw's partner entered, Detective Lisa Park, 15 years on the force, specialized in financial crimes. The offshore accounts are interesting, Park said. 12 shell companies in the Cayman Islands, funneling money through various LLCs, classic money laundering structure. How much are we talking? 30 million, maybe more. Hard to track all of it, but enough for federal charges. Shaw nodded. Added to the pile. What about the ex-wives? Background checks complete. All 3 check out. No criminal records. No history of false accusations. No red flags. They're credible witnesses. Good, because Derek's lawyers are going to attack their credibility. We need them bulletproof. Shaw pulled up his timeline. 7 years of Derek's life mapped out in detail. Year 1, Derek targets Amanda Sterling, tech heiress, father worth $2 billion. Derek researches her, learns her habits, positions himself at events she attends, engineers a meeting, charms her. They date for 6 months. Marry quickly. Year 1, month 7, first documented incident. Amanda hospitalized with broken wrist, claims she fell. Photos show defensive wounds. Classic domestic violence presentation. Year 2, escalating violence. 3 more hospitalizations. Amanda tries to leave twice. Derek threatens her family. Threatens to destroy her father's company. She stays. Year 2, month 8, final incident. Ruptured spleen. Amanda nearly dies. Files restraining order from hospital bed. Derek's lawyers negotiate settlement. $5 million. NDA. Amanda moves to London. Year 3. Derek targets Rachel Montgomery, real estate developer's daughter. Same pattern, same escalation. Marriage lasts 18 months. Ends with broken jaw. Restraining order. Name change. Rachel disappears. Year 4. Derek targets Jennifer Hayes, investment banker, self-made fortune, pregnant with twins. Derek pushes her downstairs. Miscarriage, restraining order. Jennifer moves to Boston. Year 5. Derek targets Victoria Blackwell, billionaire's daughter, estranged from father, vulnerable from mother's death, perfect victim. Derek charms her, marries her, begins abuse immediately. Years 5 through 10, systematic destruction, 300 documented incidents, 4 miscarriages, 18 ER visits, complete isolation. Financial control. The pattern was undeniable. Shaw called Harrison. I need to meet with Victoria and the ex-wives, all together. There's something I need them to understand. What? That Derek isn't going to stop. Not with a restraining order, not with criminal charge, and not with financial ruin. He's going to escalate, and we need to prepare for that. Harrison's voice was cold. Explain. Men like Derek don't accept defeat. They see it as temporary setback. He's going to try to get to Victoria, either directly or through intimidation, through the legal system, through her friends, through her family. He has nothing left to lose. That makes him more dangerous, not less. Then we protect her. Protection only works if she stays hidden. But Victoria just tweeted, publicly, from a new account. But Derek will find it. He'll know she's speaking, and he'll see that as a challenge. What do you suggest? Accelerate the timeline. File charges now. Get him arrested now, before he has time to plan, before he has time to escalate. We have enough evidence. Let's use it. Do it, Shaw hung up, called the DA's office. I'm bringing charges against Derek Sutherland. Multiple counts. Domestic violence, assault, battery, fraud. I need arrest warrants. Today. Today? That's fast. He's a flight risk. He has offshore accounts. He has means. He has motive. If we don't move now, he disappears. Give me 2 hours. Shaw used those 2 hours to organize evidence. Photos, videos, medical records, financial documents, witness statements. Everything needed to prosecute Derek Sutherland to the fullest extent of the law. At 4 in the afternoon, the warrants came through. Shaw called his team. Derek Sutherland is at his office, Midtown. Let's go. They arrived at Derek's building with 6 officers, entered the lobby, took the elevator to the 40th floor. Derek Sutherland sat in his office, on the phone, yelling at someone about stock prices. Shaw knocked, entered without waiting for permission. Derek looked up, saw the badge. His face changed. Calculation replaced surprise in seconds. Can I help you, detective? Derek Sutherland, you're under arrest. Multiple counts of assault, battery, domestic violence, fraud, securities violations. You have the right to remain silent. Shaw read the Miranda rights while officers handcuffed Derek. Derek didn't resist, didn't speak, just stared at Shaw with cold eyes. This is a mistake, Derek finally said, a huge mistake. My lawyers will have me out in an hour. Maybe, but that hour is enough for me to hold a press conference, to release evidence, to make sure everyone knows exactly what you are. Derek's mask slipped, pure rage underneath. She's lying. Victoria is lying about everything, and I'm going to prove it. Looking forward to it, because I have 3 other women who will testify you're a serial abuser, and 47 videos from your own assistant showing exactly what you are. Good luck explaining that. They walked Derek out, through his office, past his employees, past the cameras stationed in the lobby. The arrest was live-streamed by 6 different news outlets. Derek Sutherland, millionaire tech entrepreneur, arrested for beating his pregnant wife. The optics were devastating. Shaw drove Derek to the precinct, booked him, took fingerprints, photos, DNA sample. Derek's lawyers arrived within 30 minutes. Expensive suits, practiced smiles. We're posting bail immediately. Bail hearing is tomorrow, 9 a.m., Judge Hammond presiding. Tomorrow? That's unacceptable. My client has rights. Your client is a flight risk. He stays in custody until the hearing. The lawyers argued, threatened, postured. Shaw didn't care. Derek spent the night in jail, in a cell, without his money, without his power, without his control, just another criminal, waiting for justice. Shaw called Harrison. He's in custody, for now. Bail hearing tomorrow. Be prepared for him to make bail. Men like Derek always do. How much will the bail be? For these charges? Probably 500,000, maybe $1 million. I'll make sure the media is there. I want everyone to see him pay. I want everyone to know he's buying his way out. And I want everyone to remember that when he goes to trial. Shaw smiled. You're good at this. I've been destroying competitors for 40 years. Derek Sutherland is just another hostile acquisition. Except this time I'm not acquiring. I'm eliminating. That night, Victoria watched the arrest footage. Derek in handcuffs. Derek being walked out. Derek's face when he realized he'd been caught. She expected to feel satisfaction, victory, relief. Instead, she felt fear. Because Harrison was right. Men like Derek didn't stop when arrested. They escalated. And Victoria knew with certainty that Derek would come for her, one way or another. The war had just begun. The bail hearing happened at 9 in the morning. Victoria didn't attend. Shaw advised against it. Too risky, too public. Instead, she watched via live stream from her father's study. Judge Grace Hammond presided, 62 years old, 30 years on the bench, known for being tough but fair. Derek sat at the defense table in an expensive suit, his lawyers flanking him. 3 of them, top-tier criminal defense attorneys. The prosecutor stood. Your Honor, the defendant is charged with 17 counts of assault, battery, and domestic violence spanning 5 years. He's also facing federal charges for securities fraud and money laundering. We ask that bail be denied. The defendant is a flight risk with substantial offshore assets. Derek's lead attorney stood, Marcus Graham, 60 years old, never lost a major case. Your Honor, my client is a respected businessman. He has deep ties to New York. He's not a flight risk. These charges are baseless. His wife is mentally unstable. This is a case of false accusations motivated by family animus and financial gain. Judge Hammond looked at the case file. 300 pages. Evidence. Photos. Medical records. I've reviewed the evidence, Mr. Graham. There's nothing baseless about 17 hospital visits. Nothing imaginary about 3 ex-wives with identical stories. Nothing unstable about video evidence from your client's own office. Alleged evidence, Your Honor. Nothing has been proven. That's what trials are for. But based on what I'm seeing, there's substantial cause for these charges. Bail is set at $2 million. Cash bond. No 10% option. The defendant will wear an ankle monitor. He is prohibited from contacting the victim or any witnesses. 500 feet minimum distance at all times. Violation results in immediate arrest and bail revocation. Derek's face showed nothing. His lawyers nodded, expected. We'll post bail immediately. Hearing adjourned. Victoria watched Derek walk out, free, monitored but free. Her hands shook. She'd known this would happen, known he'd make bail, but watching it felt different. He's out, and he knows where I am, and he's out. Harrison put a hand on her shoulder. He can't come near you. The restraining order is active, 500 feet minimum. He violates that, he goes back to jail. He'll find a way. He always finds a way. She wasn't wrong. At noon, Victoria's new phone rang. Unknown number. She shouldn't have answered, but something made her. Hello? Breathing, just breathing. Who is this? You think you're safe. Derek's voice, quiet, controlled. You think your daddy's money can protect you. It can't. I will find you. I will make you pay for what you've done. And when I'm finished, you'll wish you'd never been born. Victoria's throat closed. You're violating the restraining order. Prove it. This phone won't trace back to me. And you won't tell anyone about this call because you're scared, because you know what I'm capable of, because you know I always win. You're going to prison. Derek laughed. Actually laughed. Maybe. Eventually, but not today. Not this month. Not this year. The trial is 18 months away. Minimum. You think you can hide from me for 18 months? You think you can stay in your father's house forever? You're pregnant. You're going to have a baby, and babies need to go outside, to doctor's appointments, to hospitals. And when you do, I'll be watching, waiting. The call ended. Victoria sat frozen, phone in her shaking hand. Harrison entered. Saw her face. What happened? She couldn't speak. Just handed him the phone. He checked the call log, unknown number. Called his tech team. Trace this number, now. I'm trying, it's bouncing through multiple proxy servers. Whoever called used sophisticated masking technology. Derek doesn't have that kind of tech knowledge. No, but he has money to buy people who do. Harrison looked at Victoria. Did he threaten you? She nodded. What did he say? Victoria repeated the call, word for word. Her voice flat, empty. Harrison called Shaw immediately. Derek violated the restraining order, threatening phone call to Victoria, 30 minutes after his release. Can you prove it was him? The voice, Victoria recognized it. Voice recognition isn't enough without phone records. If the number is masked, we can't prove it was Derek. His lawyers will say anyone could have called. Then what do we do? Document it. Record every call, every text, every communication. Build a pattern. Eventually he'll slip up. They always do. Harrison hung up, looked at his daughter. You're not leaving in this house. Not until the trial, not until he's convicted. I don't care how long it takes. I can't live in prison for 18 months. That's exactly what he wants, to control me, to keep me scared, to make me hide. Then what do you suggest? I fight back. I go public. I tell my story everywhere. Interviews, podcasts, social media. I make myself so visible that he can't touch me without the whole world watching. That's dangerous. Hiding is dangerous. Everything is dangerous. At least this way, I'm not passive. I'm not waiting for him to act. I'm acting first. Julian agreed. She's right. Derek thrives in darkness, in secrecy, in shame. Shining light on him is the best weapon we have. Harrison considered, then nodded slowly. Okay, but we do it strategically. No random interviews, no exploitative media. We control the narrative. We tell your story your way. Agreed? Agreed. They spent the afternoon planning, drafting a statement, scheduling interviews, building a media strategy. At 6 p.m, Victoria posted on Twitter, Derek Sutherland called me today, 30 minutes after his bail release. Threatened me, tried to scare me. It worked. I am scared, but I'm also done being silent. Tomorrow, I'm telling my full story. Stay tuned. The tweet went viral instantly. Derek's lawyers issued a statement within an hour. Our client made no such call. Mrs. Sutherland is fabricating threats to influence public opinion and prejudice the jury pool. We will be filing a motion to sequester her immediately. The media picked sides. Some supported Victoria, believed her, amplified her voice. Others questioned her timing, her motives, her credibility. The court of public opinion was divided. But Victoria didn't care about all of them, just the ones who believed, just the survivors who saw themselves in her story. That night, Victoria couldn't sleep. Every sound was Derek. Every shadow was a threat. At 2 a.m, she got up, walked to the bathroom, sat on the edge of the tub. Then she felt it. Cramping, low, deep, familiar. No, not now, not yet. She stood, felt wetness, looked down, blood. Not much, but enough. Her heart stopped. The baby. I'm losing the baby. She couldn't call out, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. She sat on the bathroom floor, surrounded by white tile, watching blood spread across her legs. Please, she whispered, please don't take this from me. I've lost everything else. Don't take this. The baby kicked, once, weak, then nothing. Victoria's world collapsed. She'd survived Derek, survived 5 years of hell, survived 300 beatings, survived 4 miscarriages. But she couldn't survive losing this baby. Not now, not when she'd finally gotten free. She sat there bleeding, certain she was losing everything. All her strength evaporated, every brave moment gone. She was just a scared woman who'd lost everything and was about to lose more. She sobbed, truly sobbed, for the first time since the restaurant. For 30 minutes, she allowed herself to break completely. Then Harrison found her. He'd heard her crying, came to check, saw the blood. He didn't panic, didn't freeze, just scooped up his daughter, carried her to his car, drove to the hospital. Dr. Ellen Chase met them in the ER. What happened? Cramping, bleeding. She thinks she's losing the baby. Ellen worked quickly. Ultrasound, monitors, tests. Victoria lay on the exam table, eyes closed, waiting for the worst. Then Ellen spoke. Victoria, open your eyes. Look at the monitor. Victoria looked. Heartbeat, strong, steady, fast. The baby is fine, Ellen said gently. Strong heartbeat, active movement, no signs of distress. But the bleeding, stress-related, your blood pressure is through the roof. Your body is under enormous strain. The bleeding is your body's way of saying you need to slow down. Rest. Take care of yourself. I can't rest. Derek is out there, planning, threatening, waiting. If you don't rest, you will lose this baby. Not today, but soon. Your body can only handle so much. You have to choose. Fight Derek or protect your baby. You can't do both. Victoria looked at the ultrasound screen. Her baby, swimming, moving, alive. She placed her hand on her belly, made a choice. I choose my baby. Derek can wait. Justice can wait. This baby can't. Harrison took her hand. Good. That's good. We'll handle Derek. You handle yourself. They drove home. Victoria went straight to bed. Ellen's words echoed. Your body tried to protect itself by ending the pregnancy. 4 miscarriages. 4 times her body chose survival over pregnancy. This time she had to choose differently. She had to choose the baby over everything else, even over justice. Victoria lay in bed, hand on her belly, baby moving inside. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm sorry I put you through this. I'm sorry I exposed you to stress and fear and violence. I'm going to do better. I'm going to be better. For you. She fell asleep like that, hand protecting her belly, baby protected inside. For the first time in weeks, she slept deeply, peacefully, because she'd finally learned what mattered most. Not revenge, not justice, not even freedom. Life, her baby's life. That was the only thing that mattered. Everything else could wait. Victoria spent the next week in bed. Doctor's orders, complete rest, no stress, no media, no fighting, just peace. Harrison brought her meals. Julian brought books and magazines. Nina visited daily. Slowly, Victoria's blood pressure stabilized. The cramping stopped. The bleeding ended. The baby grew stronger, more active, swimming and kicking and alive. But Victoria's world grew smaller. Just her room, her bed, her thoughts. She did what she always did when overwhelmed. Reorganize. But this time differently. Not Derek's way, her way. She organized her thoughts instead of cabinets. Her memories instead of drawers. She made lists, not of incidents, but of truths. Things I know are true. 1. Derek abused me for 5 years. 2. I survived 300 beatings. 3. I documented everything. 4. I'm not crazy. 5. I'm not weak. 6. I deserve better. 7. My baby deserves better. 8. This is not my fault. 9. I can heal from this. 10. I will heal from this. She read the list every morning, reminded herself of facts when emotions tried to rewrite history. Dr. Ellen visited twice, checked vitals, monitored the baby, talked about trauma. You're going to have flashbacks, Ellen said. Well, triggers, moments where your body remembers the violence even when your mind doesn't. That's normal. That's PTSD. That's how trauma works. How do I stop it? You don't. You manage it. Therapy, medication if needed, time, patience. You spent 5 years being hurt. You're going to spend years healing. That's not weakness. That's reality. I don't have years. The trial is in 18 months. I need to be strong by then. Strong doesn't mean unbroken. Strong means surviving despite the breaks. You're already strong, Victoria. You just don't see it yet. On the 8th day of bed rest, Victoria's phone rang. Amanda Sterling. Hey, how are you feeling? Better, bored, restless, but better. Good, because I need to tell you something. Something I should have said when we first met. What? You're the bravest one. Of all of us. Rachel and Jennifer and I, we all left eventually, but we left quietly, secretly. We took settlements and signed NDAs and disappeared. You didn't. You went public. You exposed him. You're the one who's actually stopping him. I didn't have a choice. The video went viral. I didn't plan that. Maybe, but you could have denied it. Could have claimed it was taken out of context. Could have protected Derek to protect yourself. You didn't. You confirmed it. You owned it. You said, yes, I'm being abused, and yes, I need help. That's courage. Victoria hadn't thought of it that way. I just didn't want to lie anymore. I was tired of lying. Exactly. You were so tired of lying that you told the truth even though it was dangerous, even though it was scary, even though Derek threatened you. That's not weakness. That's strength. It doesn't feel like strength. It feels like survival. Survival is strength. Getting up every day when everything hurts, breathing when you want to stop, choosing life when death feels easier. That's the strongest thing any of us can do. They talked for an hour about Derek, about trauma, about healing. Amanda shared her therapy journey, 5 years of PTSD treatment, medication, group therapy, individual counseling. I still have nightmares, Amanda admitted, 6 years later. I still dream about him hitting me. I still flinch when men raise their voices. I still check locks 3 times before bed. Trauma doesn't disappear, but it gets quieter. Does it ever go away? I don't know. I'll tell you when I find out. After the call, Victoria felt different. Not fixed, but less broken. Maybe healing wasn't about becoming who she was before Derek. Maybe it was about becoming someone new, someone shaped by pain, but not defined by it. That afternoon, Nina brought baby clothes, shopping bags full of tiny outfits. I know you're on bed rest, but I got excited, so I bought everything. Victoria laughed, really laughed. First time in weeks. Everything? Literally everything. Onesies, sleepers, hats, socks. Look at these tiny socks. They spent 2 hours going through the clothes, pink and blue and yellow and green, gender neutral, because Victoria didn't know yet, wanted to be surprised. Nina held up a tiny yellow onesie. It said, "Made with love," across the front. I bought this 3 months ago, Victoria said quietly. Hid it from Derek. He didn't allow yellow. Too cheerful, he said. Too cheerful? What kind of person doesn't allow cheerful? The kind who needs everyone around him to be as miserable as he is. Nina folded the onesie carefully. Well, he's not here now. Your baby can wear all the sunshine colors you want. Victoria held the tiny outfit, this small piece of clothing. This tiny choice. Derek didn't allow yellow. Now she could dress her baby in sunshine if she wanted. This tiny choice felt enormous. She'd spent 5 years asking permission. Permission to buy clothes, permission to see friends, permission to exist. Now she could just decide. No permission needed, just choice. I want this one, Victoria said. For the hospital, when the baby is born, this is the outfit I want. Then that's what we'll use. That evening, Victoria got out of bed, against doctor's orders. But she needed to move, needed to reclaim her body. She walked to the nursery, the one Harrison had prepared in his house. It was perfect. Soft gray walls, white furniture, neutral colors, peaceful. Not like the penthouse nursery, not filled with unopened boxes and broken dreams. This room felt different, safe, hopeful. Victoria assembled the crib, slowly, carefully, read the instructions 3 times like she always did. But this time she actually built it, step by step, piece by piece, creating something instead of just surviving. It took 2 hours. Her back ached. The baby protested with kicks, but she finished. The crib stood in the corner, ready, waiting, real. She made up the mattress. Soft sheets, gentle blankets, hung the mobile with moons and stars. Then she sat in the rocking chair, hands on her belly, baby moving inside. Your grandfather built this room for you, she whispered. Your uncle picked out the furniture. Your Aunt Nina bought your clothes. You're so loved already, by so many people. You're going to grow up surrounded by love, safe love, gentle love, the kind of love I should have waited for, the kind of love I'll make sure you never settle for less than. The baby kicked, strong, insistent, as if saying, I hear you. Victoria rocked slowly, eyes closed, peace settling in her bones. For 5 years, she dreamed of escape, imagined freedom, planned her exit. Now that she had it, it felt surreal, like she was living someone else's life. But it was her life, her second chance, her new beginning, and she wasn't going to waste it. Julian knocked on the doorframe. Hey, you're supposed to be resting. I needed to do this, needed to build something, literally build something with my own hands. It looks good, really good. They sat together in the nursery, brother and sister, like when they were kids. I'm sorry I pushed you away, Victoria said. After Mom died, after Derek, I'm sorry I chose him over family. You didn't choose him. He manipulated you. There's a difference. I still made the choice to marry him, to stay with him, to cut Dad out. Those were my choices. Choices made under duress aren't really choices. They're survival decisions. And you can't blame yourself for surviving. Victoria considered that survival decisions, not choices, not weakness, not failure, just survival. I used to think strength meant never falling down, she said quietly. Now I know it means getting back up every single time, even when it hurts, even when it's hard, even when you don't want to. Julian smiled. Mom used to say that, almost exactly. You sound like her. I wish she was here. I wish she could meet our grandchild. I wish I could tell her I'm sorry for everything. She knows, wherever she is, she knows, and she's proud. I'm sure of it. They sat in comfortable silence. Just being. No words needed. The baby kicked. Victoria laughed. This kid is so active. Never stops moving. That's good. Means they're healthy, strong, ready to take on the world. Just like their mom. Victoria looked at Julian. You really think I'm strong? I know you are. You survived Derek. You're carrying a baby. You're building a case against him. You're healing from trauma. You're doing everything all at once. If that's not strength, I don't know what is. Victoria felt tears building, but good tears, not pain tears, relief tears. Thank you for not giving up on me, for being here, for believing me. Always, that's what family does. They left the nursery together. Victoria went back to bed. Doctor's orders. But this time sleep came easily, peacefully, because for the first time since Derek, Victoria felt something she thought she'd lost forever. Hope. Not the desperate hope of an abused woman praying for change, but real hope. Grounded hope. Hope built on evidence and action and love. Hope that tomorrow would be better than today. That next week would be better than this week. That next month would bring healing instead of harm. Hope that she would survive this. That her baby would thrive. That Derek would face justice. Hope that life could be good again. And that hope, that tiny seed of possibility, felt like power. The restraining order hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks after Derek's arrest. Victoria was 9 months pregnant, due any day. Dr. Ellen advised against attending. The stress could trigger labor. It's too risky. But Victoria refused to hide. I need to face him. I need to show him I'm not scared anymore. But you are scared. That's okay. Fear is smart. I'm scared, but I'm going anyway. That's courage, right? Ellen couldn't argue with that logic. They drove to the courthouse. Harrison, Julian, Nina, and Victoria, plus 2 security guards, plus Shaw and his team. The media circus was overwhelming, cameras everywhere, reporters shouting questions, crowds watching. Victoria walked through it all, hand on her belly, chin up, eyes forward. She wore simple clothes, maternity dress, minimal makeup, let the bruises show, faded now but still visible. Derek's team arrived minutes later. 4 lawyers, expensive suits, controlled expressions. Then Derek, ankle monitor visible, suit perfectly tailored, hair styled, looking every bit the successful businessman. Their eyes met across the courthouse steps. Derek smiled, slow, calculating, as if this was all a game he was winning. Victoria looked away first, not from fear, from choice. He didn't deserve her attention. They entered the courtroom, Victoria on one side, Derek on the other. Judge Grace Hammond presided. She looked at both parties, then at the evidence files. 300 pages. This is a restraining order hearing for Victoria Blackwell against Derek Sutherland. Mrs. Blackwell is seeking a permanent restraining order based on documented domestic violence spanning 5 years. But Sutherland is contesting the order. We'll hear arguments from both sides. The prosecutor stood, young, confident, armed with evidence. Your Honor, we have 17 hospital visits, 23 police reports, 47 video recordings, 4 witness testimonies from previous victims, medical documentation, photos. The evidence is overwhelming. Mr. Sutherland has a pattern of systematic abuse spanning 7 years across 4 relationships. Derek's lawyer stood, Marcus Graham, smooth, practiced. Your Honor, my client denies all allegations. Mrs. Blackwell is mentally unstable. The pregnancy has exacerbated underlying mental health issues. She's fabricated these accusations to access my client's assets and curry favor with her estranged family. We have psychiatric experts ready to testify to her compromised mental state." Judge Hammond looked unimpressed. "Psychiatric experts? Hired by you? To testify that an abuse victim is crazy? How original." "Your Honor, we simply ask for fair consideration. My client's reputation has been destroyed by unproven allegations. He deserves due process. He'll get due process at trial. This hearing is to determine if there's sufficient cause for a restraining order. And from what I'm seeing, there's more than sufficient cause." She turned to Victoria. "Mrs. Blackwell, I need to ask you directly. Why now? Why come forward after 5 years?" Victoria stood, 9 months pregnant, hand protectively on her belly. Her voice didn't shake. "Because I'm about to become a mother, and I cannot bring a child into a home where violence is normal. I cannot teach my daughter that love includes bruises. I cannot teach my son that power means control. I stayed because I was afraid to leave. I'm leaving because I'm more afraid to stay." The courtroom was silent, every person listening, every word mattering. "I spent 5 years making excuses. For him, for myself, for staying. I told myself it wasn't that bad, that he didn't mean it, that he would change. But he didn't change. He got worse, 300 times worse, 4 miscarriages worse, 18 hospital visits worse. I almost died multiple times, and I would have died eventually, but I'm not dying anymore. I'm living, and that starts with this restraining order." Judge Hammond nodded slowly. "Thank you for your honesty. Mr. Graham, your client wishes to respond." Derek stood, looked directly at Victoria. "Your Honor, I loved my wife. I still love her, but she's not well. The accusations are fantasy, products of a troubled mind. I never laid a hand on her in anger. I would never hurt the mother of my child." Victoria's lawyer stood. "Your Honor, I have video evidence to refute that claim, taken from L'Etoile restaurant 3 weeks ago, showing Mr. Sutherland slapping his pregnant wife in front of 200 witnesses. I've seen the video, counsel. The entire world has seen the video." Derek's lawyer intervened. "Taken out of context, we don't know what preceded that moment, what Mrs. Blackwell said or did to provoke that response." Judge Hammond's expression hardened. "Counsel, are you seriously arguing that a pregnant woman deserved to be slapped in a public restaurant?" "I'm arguing we don't have full context. The context is assault. There is no context that justifies striking a pregnant woman, or any person." The lawyer sat down, realizing he'd just lost the argument. Judge Hammond looked at the evidence again, then at Victoria, then at Derek. "I'm granting the restraining order, permanent, 500 feet minimum distance, no contact, no third-party contact, no social media mention, no indirect communication of any kind. Violation results in immediate arrest and prosecution." Derek's face showed nothing, but his hands clenched, just slightly. Victoria noticed. "Furthermore," the judge continued, "I'm ordering a full investigation into Mr. Sutherland's previous marriages. If this pattern exists beyond Mrs. Blackwell's case, I want to know about it. Detective Shaw, you're assigned to that investigation. Report back to this court in 30 days. "Yes, Your Honor." "Additionally, Mr. Sutherland, you are prohibited from leaving the state of New York. Your passport is surrendered. Your ankle monitor stays on. You will check in with your probation officers daily. Am I clear?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Good, because I'm looking at evidence of systematic abuse, of financial crimes, of witness intimidation, and if even half of this is true, you're going to prison for a very long time. So I suggest you use these next 18 months to prepare yourself for that reality." She banged the gavel. "Restraining order granted. Next case." Victoria exhaled, really exhaled. For the first time in the hearing, she'd won. The first battle, not the war, but the first battle. Derek stood to leave. His lawyers surrounded him, protecting him from media and questions. But before he left, he turned, looked directly at Victoria, and mouthed 3 words, "This isn't over." Victoria stared back, mouthed 4 words, "Yes, it fucking is." Then she walked out, Head high, victorious. The media swarmed, questions flying, cameras flashing. Harrison's security created a bubble, protecting Victoria, moving her through the crowd. A reporter shouted, "Victoria, how do you feel? Did you get justice today?" Victoria stopped, turned, faced the cameras. Justice is a process, not a moment. Today was one step, but it's an important step. Derek Sutherland can't hurt me anymore, can't contact me, can't threaten me. And that's a start. For all the women out there in similar situations, please know it gets better. It's hard and scary and overwhelming, but it gets better. You deserve safety. You deserve peace. And there are people who will help you get there. Don't give up. Please don't give up. The reporters erupted with follow-up questions. But Victoria walked away, got in Harrison's car, drove towards safety. In the back seat, she placed both hands on her belly. The baby kicked, strong, insistent. "We did it," she whispered. "First battle won, many more to go, but we did it." Nina grabbed her hand. "You were amazing in there, so strong, so clear." "I didn't feel strong, I felt terrified." That's what courage looks like, being terrified but doing it anyway. 2 weeks after the restraining order hearing, Victoria woke at 3 in the morning. Pain, low, deep, radiating across her abdomen. She lay still, waiting, counting. Another contraction, stronger this time, then another, 5 minutes apart. Labor. She reached for her phone, called Harrison. He answered immediately. "What's wrong?" "It's time, the baby is coming." Harrison was at her door in 30 seconds. Already dressed, alert. "How far apart are the contractions?" 5 minutes, maybe less now." "I'm calling Ellen. Julian is getting the car. Nina is on her way." Everything moved quickly after that. Ellen met them at Manhattan General. Private entrance, away from media, away from cameras. They'd planned this, anticipated Derek might try something. Stationed security at every entrance, alerted hospital staff, created protocols. Victoria was taken to a private room, top floor, monitored, protected. Ellen examined her. "You're dilated to 6 centimeters, moving fast. This baby wants out." "How long?" "Could be hours, could be minutes. Babies come on their own timeline." Harrison sat beside the bed, held Victoria's hand. "I'm here. I'm not leaving." Julian paced by the window, nervous energy. "Do you need anything? Water, ice chips, music?" "Just stay, both of you, please stay." Nina arrived with the hospital bag, the yellow onesie, everything they'd prepared. The contractions intensified. Every 3 minutes, then every 2. Victoria breathed through them, focused, determined. Labor was pain, but different pain than Derek's. This pain had purpose, had meaning, had an end. 8 hours passed, the contractions closer, stronger, overwhelming. Ellen checked again. "You're ready. 10 centimeters. It's time to push." Victoria nodded, exhausted, scared, ready. Harrison stayed by her head. Julian stepped out, gave her privacy. Nina held her other hand. "Okay, Victoria," Ellen said calmly. "On the next contraction, I need you to push hard, like you're pushing through fear, through pain, through everything." The contraction came. Victoria pushed and pushed and pushed. "I can see the head," Ellen said. "One more big push. You can do this." Victoria gathered every ounce of strength, every survival instinct, every moment of courage from the past months. She pushed. And at 3:47 in the morning, her daughter entered the world. Screaming, healthy, perfect. Ellen placed the baby on Victoria's chest, tiny, warm, alive. Victoria looked down at her daughter, this person she'd protected for 9 months, this life she'd chosen over everything else. "Hi," Victoria whispered. "Hi, baby. I'm your mom. I've been waiting to meet you." The baby stopped crying, looked up, eyes unfocused but searching. Mother and daughter, meeting for the first time. Harrison's eyes filled with tears. First time Julian had ever seen his father cry. She's perfect, Harrison said quietly. Absolutely perfect. Her name, the nurse asked. For the birth certificate? Victoria looked at her father. Margaret Elizabeth Blackwell. After her mother, after herself, no Sutherland. Derek's name nowhere near her daughter's identity. Harrison's voice broke completely. Margaret, Mom would have loved her. She would have been so proud of you. I wish she was here. I wish she could meet her granddaughter. I wish I could tell her I understand now what it means to be a mother, what you're willing to do to protect your child. She knows. Wherever she is, she knows. They spent the next hour in peace, just family, Victoria, baby Margaret, Harrison, Julian, Nina. No Derek, no threat, no fear. Just love. Ellen checked Margaret. 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Healthy, strong lungs, perfect scores. She's a fighter, Ellen said, just like her mom. Victoria held her daughter, studied her tiny face, her fingers, her toes, every perfect detail. I'm going to tell you everything, Victoria whispered to Margaret. Not now, but someday. When you're old enough, I'm going to tell you about the man who hurt me, about the people who saved me, about the strength I found. Not because I want you to be afraid, because I want you to be wise. She adjusted Margaret's tiny body. The baby made soft sounds, content, safe. I'm going to teach you that love doesn't hurt, that respect is required, that your voice matters, that you never have to choose between independence and approval, that you can be strong and soft at the same time, that being scared doesn't make you weak, that asking for help is courage, not failure. Margaret yawned, tiny mouth opening wide. I'm going to raise you differently than I was raised. Not because Grandpa did it wrong, but because we can do it better. He learned, and you're going to benefit from all that learning. Harrison listened, didn't interrupt. Let his daughter make promises to her daughter. Your grandfather is going to be different for you than he was for me, Victoria continued. He's learned that love isn't control, that protecting isn't restricting, that family is built on trust, not rules. Right, Dad? Harrison nodded. Right, I'm going to do better. For her, for you, for all of us. At noon, a nurse entered. Mrs. Blackwell, I'm sorry. There's a situation. Victoria's whole body tensed. What situation? Derek Sutherland is in the lobby, demanding to see his child. Security is detaining him, but he's threatening to sue, claims he has parental rights. What would you like us to do? Victoria looked at Harrison, at Julian, at Ellen. Then she made a decision. Tell him I have a restraining order being filed against him for the baby too. He came within 500 feet of my room. That's a violation. Call Detective Shaw. Have him arrested. Are you sure? I'm sure. He beat me while I was pregnant with her. He threatened to kill us both. He doesn't get to claim fatherhood now. He lost that privilege the first time he raised his hand. Tell security to remove him, and tell Shaw I'll press charges. The nurse nodded, left to deliver the message. 10 minutes later, Shaw called. Derek's in custody. Violation of restraining order. He'll be held until the bail hearing, which won't happen until Monday. He's spending the weekend in jail. Good. How are you feeling? Exhausted, sore, happy, scared, everything. That's normal. Having a baby changes everything. My wife says the first few weeks are survival mode, but it gets easier. I hope so, because right now I can't imagine doing anything harder than this. You just survived labor. You can survive anything. After the call, Victoria held Margaret closer, protected, safe. He's not going to touch you, she promised. He's not going to hurt you. He's not going to control you. You're going to grow up knowing you're loved, unconditionally, completely. You're going to know that family means safety, not fear. That home is refuge, not prison. Margaret slept, peaceful, unaware of the chaos around her birth. Victoria looked at her daughter's tiny fingers, perfect little fingers that had never known violence. She made a silent promise. These hands will only know gentle touches. This life will only know safe love. The cycle stops here. With me. With this breath. With this choice. Nina brought food, real food, not hospital food. Victoria ate like she hadn't eaten in months. You need your strength, Nina said. Newborns don't sleep. Neither will you. Eat while you can. How do you know so much about babies? I don't. I'm Googling everything, but I'm pretending to be confident so you feel better. Victoria laughed, really laughed, despite the pain, despite the exhaustion, despite everything. Thank you for being here, for never giving up on me, for calling my dad when I couldn't. That's what friends do, even when you push us away, even when you hide, even when you lie about falling. We stay, we wait. We're here when you're ready. That evening, visitors started arriving. Amanda Sterling, Rachel Montgomery, Jennifer Hayes, the sisterhood of survivors. They brought gifts, flowers, blankets, books, but mostly they brought understanding. You did it, Amanda said. You survived. You escaped. You created life despite him trying to destroy it. That's the ultimate victory. Rachel held Margaret carefully. She's beautiful. She's going to grow up knowing what strength looks like, what courage looks like, because her mom is both of those things. Jennifer was quieter, tears in her eyes. I lost twins, to him, to his violence. Seeing your daughter alive and healthy, it gives me hope that maybe someday I can try again, can create life that survives. The four women sat together, united by trauma, connected by survival, bonded by choice. We should make this official, Victoria said suddenly, a foundation to help other women, to provide resources, legal support, safe housing, everything we wish we'd had. I'm in, Amanda said immediately. I have money, lots of it, from the settlement. I've been waiting for the right cause. I have legal contacts, Rachel added, and I know how to disappear, how to create new identities, how to help women vanish when they need to. I have therapy connections, Jennifer offered, trauma specialists, support groups, healing resources. Victoria looked at them. And I have a public platform, a story people care about, a voice that reaches millions. We could actually do this, actually help people. Harrison entered, listened. You need funding, infrastructure, legal protection. I can provide all of that. Tell me what you need. I'll make it happen. They spent the next hour planning, dreaming, building something from their collective pain. The Sutherland Survivors Foundation, named ironically, taking Derek's name and transforming it into something that helped instead of hurt. By midnight, they had a plan, a board, a mission statement, a path forward. Victoria held Margaret while they talked, her daughter sleeping through the planning, through the hope, through the birth of something bigger than revenge. This wasn't justice through destruction. This was justice through creation. Derek had broken 4 women. Those 4 women were building something that would protect thousands. That felt like power. At 2 in the morning, everyone left. Victoria was alone with Margaret, just the 2 of them. She looked at her daughter, this tiny person, this beginning. You're 2 days old, Victoria whispered, and you've already changed the world because you gave me a reason to fight, to survive, to build something better. Thank you for that. Thank you for choosing to live when everything was trying to stop you. Margaret stirred, made tiny sounds, hungry. Victoria fed her, slowly, carefully, learning. Everything about motherhood was learning. How to hold her, how to feed her, how to comfort her, how to be enough. But Victoria was good at learning. She'd been learning survival for 5 years. Now she'd learn love. And unlike Derek's lessons, love's lessons felt like healing. 6 months passed. Margaret grew. Victoria healed. The foundation launched. Derek's trial date approached. 18 months after his arrest. 18 months of legal maneuvering. Delays, motions, appeals. But finally, justice was imminent. Victoria sat in the foundation office. Their office. Midtown, donated space. Filled with hope. Amanda ran operations, schedules, budgets, logistics. Her business mind put to good use. Rachel handled legal, coordinating lawyers, filing paperwork, protecting women through the system. Jennifer managed therapy programs, support groups, healing circles, helping women process trauma. Victoria was the public face, the voice, The testimony, she did interviews, podcasts, speaking engagements, telling her story over and over. So other women knew they weren't alone. In 6 months, the foundation had helped 2,000 women leave abusive situations. 2,000 women safe, because 4 women survived. The math felt meaningful. Olivia Carter, Derek's former assistant, had joined the team. She brought something unexpected. I have information on 12 other men, Olivia said at a board meeting. Tech executives, finance guys. They operate like Derek did. Same pattern, same manipulation, same violence. I worked in these circles for years. I saw it everywhere. The foundation expanded. Not just Derek's victims. All victims. Every woman who needed help. They created resources, safety plans, legal templates, financial guides, everything a woman needed to escape safely. The work was exhausting, triggering, overwhelming, but purposeful. Victoria had spent 5 years being destroyed. Now she spent every day building, and building felt better than breaking. At home, Margaret thrived, 6 months old, crawling, laughing, growing. Harrison was a different grandfather than he'd been a father. Gentler, more present, more patient. Julian was the fun uncle, playing, teaching, protecting. Nina was the honorary aunt, babysitting, supporting, loving unconditionally. Margaret grew up surrounded by love, the kind of love Victoria had wanted, the kind she'd settled for less than, the kind her daughter would never know anything less than. One evening, Victoria's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Victoria Blackwell? Yes. This is Rikers Island. You have a call from inmate Derek Sutherland. Will you accept? Victoria's chest tightened. Derek, calling from jail, awaiting trial. She should hang up, should refuse, should maintain no contact. But curiosity won. I'll accept. A click, then his voice. Victoria, you're violating the restraining order. I'm allowed one phone call. I chose you. Why? Because I want to apologize. Victoria laughed, actually laughed. No. What? No, you don't get that. You don't get closure or forgiveness or redemption. You get consequences. That's the justice you earned. Victoria, please, I need you to understand. I loved you. You loved controlling me. There's a difference. I know the difference now. What about Margaret? She deserves to know her father. Her father? Victoria's voice hardened. You beat me while I was pregnant with her. You threatened to kill us both. You tried to destroy us before she was even born. You don't get to claim fatherhood. You lost that privilege the first time you raised your hand. The courts will give me visitation rights. I'm her biological father. The courts will see the same evidence everyone else did. 17 hospital visits, 4 miscarriages, 300 documented assaults. And my daughter will grow up knowing her grandfather, her uncle, her honorary aunt, and a mother who loved her enough to leave. That's her family. Not you, never you. Derek's voice changed. The mask cracked. Rage underneath. I made you. You were nothing when I met you. You're right. I was nothing when you were done with me. But I rebuilt. That's the difference between us. I can create. You can only destroy. And that's why I'm free and you're in jail. That's why I have my daughter and you have nothing. That's why I'm healing and you're rotting. I'll get out eventually. And when I do, when you do, I'll be ready. We'll all be ready because you taught us something important. You taught us we're stronger together than you ever were alone. So thank you for being so terrible that we had to become extraordinary. Victoria hung up, blocked the number, reported the violation to Shaw. Then she sat back, breathing, processing, surviving. Nina entered with Margaret. Hey, you okay? Derek called. What? How? Prison phone. He wanted to apologize, to explain, to manipulate. What did you say? Victoria smiled. I said no. I said goodbye, and I meant it. She took Margaret, held her close. This child who saved her, this life that gave her purpose. He's never going to meet you, Victoria promised. He's never going to hurt you. He's never going to have any power over either of us again. Margaret babbled, happy sounds, unaware of the darkness she'd been protected from. 3 weeks later, the trial began. Victoria sat in the courtroom, front row, visible, present, unafraid. Derek sat at the defense table, thinner, paler. Prison had diminished him. Their eyes met once. Victoria didn't look away, didn't flinch, just looked. And in that moment, Derek saw the truth. She wasn't his victim anymore. She was his prosecutor, his judge, his reckoning. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Testimony from Victoria, from Amanda, from Rachel, from Jennifer, medical experts, financial experts, psychiatric experts, 47 videos, 18 hospital reports, 300 documented incidents. The evidence was overwhelming, undeniable, devastating. Derek's lawyers tried everything: character assassination, mental health defense, victim blaming. None of it worked. The jury deliberated for 4 hours, returned with a verdict: guilty, all 17 counts, assault, battery, domestic violence, fraud, securities violations, witness intimidation. The judge sentenced him immediately, 15 years, federal prison, no parole eligibility for 10 years. Victoria watched Derek being led away, handcuffed, defeated, destroyed. She expected to feel satisfaction, victory, joy. Instead, she felt relief, just relief. It was over, really over. Not just the relationship, not just the abuse, but the fear, the waiting, the wondering when he'd come back. He couldn't come back, not for 10 years, maybe longer. By then, Margaret would be in middle school. Victoria would be 40, her life completely rebuilt. Derek would be a memory, a lesson, a story she told to help others, but not her present, not her future, just her past. Outside the courthouse, media swarmed. Victoria gave a statement. Today, justice was served, not just for me, for Amanda, Rachel, Jennifer, and all the women Derek Sutherland hurt. But this isn't about one man, it's about a system, about changing how we respond to domestic violence, about believing victims, about supporting survivors, about making sure this never happens again. She paused, looked directly at the cameras. To every woman watching who's in a similar situation, I see you, I believe you, it's not your fault. You deserve better, and there are people who will help. The Sutherland Survivors Foundation, National Domestic Violence Hotline, local shelters, resources exist. Use them. Please use them. Your life is worth saving. You are worth saving. The reporters erupted with questions, but Victoria walked away, toward Harrison's car, toward home, toward her daughter, toward her future. In the car, she exhaled, truly exhaled, released 5 years of held breath. How do you feel? Harrison asked. Victoria thought about it, really thought. Free for the first time in 6 years. Really free. Not just physically, not just legally, but mentally, emotionally, completely free. That's good. That's really good. And tired, so incredibly tired. Can we go home? Can I just hold my daughter and sleep for 12 hours? Absolutely. They drove home. Victoria walked in. Nina handed her Margaret. The baby smiled, big gummy smile, pure joy. Victoria held her daughter, breathed in baby smell, felt tiny fingers grip her own. We did it, she whispered. We survived. We escaped. We're safe now, really safe. Margaret gurgled, happy sounds, untroubled by the day's events. Julian ordered pizza. They ate on the floor of the living room. Family dinner, celebrating not with champagne but with paper plates and casual joy. To Victoria, Harrison said, raising a water glass, for being the bravest person I know. To Margaret, Julian added, for giving her mom a reason to fight. To family, Nina said, the one you're born with and the one you choose. They clinked glasses, water, juice, whatever was nearby. The toast mattered more than the beverage. That night, Victoria put Margaret to bed. The routine they'd developed: bath, bottle, books, bed. She read from Goodnight Moon, Margaret's favorite. The baby's eyes grew heavy, drooped, closed. Victoria watched her daughter sleep. this perfect person, this second chance of a buwan. I used to think strength meant never falling down, Victoria whispered to her sleeping daughter. Now I know it means getting back up, every single time, even when it hurts, even when it's hard, even when you don't want to. I fell down 300 times, but I got up 301. That's what matters, not the falling, the getting up. She kissed Margaret's forehead, turned on the nightlight, left the door cracked. In her own room, Victoria looked at herself in the mirror, really looked. The bruises were gone, healed, the physical marks erased, but the internal ones remained, would always remain. PTSD, triggers, flashbacks, anxiety, the invisible wounds of trauma. But she was managing therapy twice a week, medication, support groups, timam, patience. Healing wasn't linear. Some days were good, some were terrible, most were somewhere in between. But each day was hers, her choices, her decisions, her life. Victoria got into bed, her bed, in her father's house, safe, protected, home. She closed her eyes. For the first time in 6 years, sleep came easily. No nightmares, no fear, no checking locks 3 times, no listening for footsteps, no preparing for violence. Just sleep, deep, peaceful, restorative, because she was finally, truly, completely safe. Victoria's story didn't end with Derek's conviction. 3 years later, the Sutherland Survivors Foundation has helped over 8,000 women escape domestic violence. They're still operating today, still saving lives, still proving that one person's courage can change thousands of futures. If this story resonated with you, if you saw yourself or someone you love in Victoria's journey, I'd really appreciate if you'd share it. Not for me, but because there's someone in your life who needs to hear this. Someone who thinks they're alone. Someone who believes they're too weak to leave. Someone who's making excuses for bruises right now. Your share could save a life. Literally. And if you want to hear more stories like this, stories about real people surviving impossible situations, hit that subscribe button. Because courage deserves to be amplified. Survival deserves to be celebrated. And voices like Victoria's deserve to be heard. Drop a comment and tell me, what was the moment in this story that hit you hardest? Was it the restaurant scene, the courtroom, the birth? I read every single comment, and your words matter. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7. The number is 1-800-799-7233. You deserve safety. You deserve peace. You deserve love that doesn't hurt. Thank you for listening to Victoria's story. Thank you for being here for all 120 minutes. Thank you for caring about survivors. Until next time, remember, you're stronger than you think, braver than you know, and you're never, ever alone. Mahem Araivam.